So that is the one interesting thing which never happened.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, thank you.
So dream sequences connected under உங்களுக்கு தோணுச்சா லைக் என்னன்னா இந்த ரூஸ்டர் சீக்வன்ஸ் அண்ட் தென் இதில் வந்துட்டு அந்த இந்த ராக்லேருந்து பிளட் காமிப்பாங்க அண்ட் தென் இந்த சீக்வன்ஸ் கண்டினியூ ஆகும். டிட் யூ ஃபீல் தட் ஆர் அதுக்கப்புறமா தென் அந்த பொம்மை வந்துட்டு ஃபீமேல் ஆகும் அண்ட் அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இவங்க ஒய்ஃப் காமிப்பாங்க. வாட் இஸ் யுவர் இன்டர்பிரிட்டேஷன்?
ஸோ அந்த பொம்மையை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எனக்கு என்ன அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்னா அகைன் அது ஒரு மெட்டஃபரிக்கல் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் த ஃபேமிலி. இப்போ அந்த பொம்மை வந்துட்டு ஒரு ஃபேமிலின்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, அந்த 4 பேரோட ஃபேமிலி அப்படின்றதுனா வாட் இஸ் த ஃபேமிலி கோயிங் த்ரூ இன் த மிடில் ஆஃப் ஆல் திஸ் அப்படின்றத ஒரு மெட்டஃபரிக்கலாக சொல்லியிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு எனக்கு தோணுச்சு. let it be the arrows or like அந்த arrow விடும்போது கூட I got the understanding that ஏன்னா அதுக்கு முன்னாடி லைக் ஒரு 2 scenes முன்னாடி தான் அப்பா வந்துட்டு சொல்லுவாரு, ஏன் ஒரு பாத்திரம் கூட அவங்களை கழுவிட மாட்டேங்கிறார், let them learn all that, let them do all this அப்படின்ட்டு அவர் சொல்லியிருப்பார். Maybe if the father's absence is really felt there, maybe if the father was there that wouldn't have happened, like taking the kid to the hospital and all this stuff wouldn't have happened. It's a metaphorical connection, like ஒரு realistic surrealism சொல்லலாமே, like where it's connecting everything back to the realistic stuff that's happening within the film அப்படின்றது எவிடெண்டா இருக்கு. I don't think it's completely fantasy, like it's not completely like ஒரு fantasy element ட்ரீட் பண்ணப்படுது, ஒரு realistic surrealism-ஆ தான் அந்த விஷயங்கள் ட்ரீட் பண்ணப்பட்டிருக்கு.
Okay, I would just say in this movie, like we saw the family go together for a nature hike. They want to spend time together. We see that even the father, he came and he says that he wants to spend time together as a family, but she gets so bitter. Or scene la I think she says something like when her art gets damaged, she says I hope that Magnus is the person like who's left the gate open, so that gives me a reason to kill him. So why does she get so bitter? Like, what is your interpretation in terms of the whole story? What do you think has happened? What also to continue on that, what about the ending? We see the blast which happens in the ocean. So could you explain a bit more of your interpretation about that? Is it like the family has come to like is separated like without any possibility of joining together? Because yes, there is a fight also in the ship which happens when he asks, like, do you feel that there's a possibility, have your wife broken up? He gets very upset and there's a fight. So in terms of the writing, the screenplay, what do you think was the strength in this movie, and your interpretation about the end as well?
So I feel there are a couple of times where all the 2 characters hint out on what could have happened, where like during that fight inside the ship itself, the boat itself, there's something he tells saying, I know her and I don't.
Yeah.
Like there is a portion of me that really knows of her, and there is a portion that doesn't know of her at all. I think that clearly sums up what the relationship is, maybe what could have gone there and what could have happened there. And same thing with her when the guy who comes to buy the art, like she takes him to this place to show him around, and this guy tells, this is such a beautiful place, I would like to be here and do this. And she just replies to him saying, you'll never know what it is to be in like my place with the wind and everything coming. It's not that easy. Maybe that's what she's feeling, whatever it is. But my understanding is Magnus really wants to be with her. Like he's taking the little steps that he can to be with her, but she's not ready for it. Every time he hints out or like he puts it out to her, her instant response is no. And for me, what could have happened is the beauty of this film is what I feel. It's up to you. Like, okay, what do you think would have happened?
It's the little things. For example, in any marriage, like when you separate or when something happens, it's the little things. When they also got together very early. So my interpretation would be that once you get, like they have girlfriends usually abroad at 16, 17. So once they get together at such an young age, what happens is usually it becomes a lifetime. But once you get a child that early, their daughter was born when they were 16, 17. So Ida says, in fact, that she's angry with her mother. She is a little bit more siding with her father. So in the car also, if you see, there's a conversation. She says, she's an emotional artist who doesn't even know about the animals. So she complains about her mom, all of that. She wants probably to spend a little more time with her dad as a family. But I think there's a little things. When you, at 16, 17, you might like something in person. And there's also that scene like where there's a dialogue about, would you love me if I'm not pretty? So there's this little things which happens like, they're very pretty when they're young. As age goes on, maybe there's some, even from the physical point of view, they might something fall off. And it's basically the little things which they grow apart. So I would say that there's not anything major, but they just grow apart. He also spends a lot of time as a fisherman, like about 3-6 months. So all of that, the time, distance, all of that plays a part, I would say.
This is what you feel. How many of you feel the same as him?
Yes, same.
Okay, because there was a guy who was sitting again right next to me. He was telling me, saying maybe he abused her like a certain way while, getting physical or something like that, because he's constantly getting back at it every time he sees her. Can we can we have sex, or like let it be like, the shots where like, take him into one zone, like, when he gets a view of whatever it is. So my friend was telling me that. For me, even that was convincing when he told me that. Now when you're telling me also, this is convincing, and this could be the little things, or it could be the bigger thing, it could be anything. The matter is, when it can be anything and everything, we can't pinpoint and tell it's this one thing is what the film is also trying to tell us, is what I feel. Like, it's not as a whole, like, like it can also be accidental pregnancy, like the first kid, you never know. So in that sense, I think it's subjective to each person and what each one of us feel about why they are now together is what I feel.
Okay, so the director is probably telling us to interpret ourselves, so that basically.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, like the fantasy sequences. There's also one aeroplane crash that happened in the beginning after the artist the gallery person visits her. So fantasy for me was they're just using it as a tool to talk about whichever character they're talking about, avangaloda current state of mind. So and the female mother, she felt like killing him. So according to her, that plane crashed like that and he burned. The father is struggling with rooster kill pantam, but I'm not being appreciated for it. So guilt. So at different points, fantasy and terror is being used. That father's floating, like he was saying, is floating there, and there's a lot of tropes of male loneliness because he is not ready to accept the separation. So அப்படி தனியா float பண்ணிருக்கிற போது வர ஒரு fantasy மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு எனக்கு.
Also about the weather of Iceland.
Thank you.
So Iceland goes through this, all 4 seasons in one day. So some of that is also like how the way, like how we get influenced by the weather, how we are part of this system.
I can't hear you.
So places like Iceland goes through.
No, he says that places in Iceland, they go through 4 seasons in a single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how things dramatically change. The landscape is dramatically in such landscapes. So how drama is, I think earlier you said like drama is everywhere. There is drama in the landscape, there is drama in the life. How it can be resettled with action.
True, but I also get a feeling they haven't shot this film across like a month or 2. I'm sure they would have like taken over a period of time, because it doesn't look like a film which has been shot in one schedule or whatever you call it, because of what is happening around them. Like I like and the bomma irukkrade, I heard that like it was shot across 6 months.
Yeah, could be, but Iceland as a region, it goes through this
Okay.
one single day.
Yeah, that's a fact, yeah.
Okay, one more follow-up to that. Actually, like if you see, like there's a big difference between international films and Indian films. There are some directors who are able to bridge the gap. For example, Christopher Nolan is a big famous director who made a movie like Oppenheimer, which struck the right balance. Like it's a movie which I feel should be seen by everyone, and it also did very well commercially as well. So how do you think like the other directors or from India, like we can learn from it? And personally, in Tamil movies or Hindi movies, la ungalku romba pidicha movie, something which is commercial as well as which has critically also it gives a good subject and mari, like you could explain on comparing the scenes between international and Indian and in Tamil cinema in particular.
அதான் எனக்கு அந்த இன்டர்நேஷனல் ஃபிலிம் கண்டென்ட் அளவுக்கு நம்ம கண்டென்ட் வருது அப்படின்னு தான் நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதில் எந்த விதத்துலையும் காம்ப்ரமைஸ்டாவோ லைக் இதுவாவோ நம்ம எந்த ஒரு படமுமே இது இன்டர்நேஷனலாக அக்ளைம்டாக இருக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு எடுக்கிறது இல்லை. எவ்ரி ஃபிலிம் வி செட் அவுட் டு மேக் அ குட் ஃபிலிம், டு மேக் இட் ரீச் அ வைடர் செட் ஆஃப் ஆடியன்ஸ், to make it like international. That's what like at least like the young breed of directors are looking at, like you know how we can expand the film, the market also. Mainly at the end of the day, this is all business. Like you know there are people who see this as business and like what revenue it generates a big. So on the vagela paakkumbodhu we are surely getting there. Maybe we are not there yet, but eventually we will be getting there yet abdina. To bring in the like what you call a festival film or like a commercial film, like you know putting it together, I think it's the audience perspective, how the audience see it and how the audience like you know take it back and all this stuff. நம்ம இப்போ லாங் ஷாட் பத்தி இவ்வளவு பேசுறோம், அது வந்து அந்த கேரக்டர் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்காக, அவங்க அப்சர்வ் பண்றதுக்காக. பட் இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற ரீல் கல்ச்சருக்கு, மீ பீயிங் அ டைரக்டர், ஐ அம் டெல்லிங் யூ லைக் it takes a lot for a director to make a film like this. It takes a lot, like you know his career is at like you know when you say, because they'll be like, hey slower la padam, like lag adikudhu அந்த ஷாட், அது முன்னாடி கட் பண்ணிக்கலாமே அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அது ஈஸியா சொல்லிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க the general audience. I mean like when we like sit together, we are discussing about the same thing gets like you know when I make a film like this in Tamil and when I get my like the common audience or someone to buy the 200 rupees ticket to come and watch the film, they might be like, okay, what is this? Like I would prefer watching like a more commercialized film. I still don't understand what a commercial film is. Like maybe for me, how I see a commercial film is when a film is being played to across 200 people in a screen, the majority of the people, are they liking the film? Do they have something to take back from the film? And is my producer making money by making sure the next shows are full? That's what I look at. So in that sense, I think the bridging is happening. Maybe like in 3-4 years, I think we will be getting there is what I feel.